If such an elixir is sold, let alone 1 billion, it means more than 1 billion. Those old and rich will all rush to buy. When people are old, what is the use of making more money? If money can return to youth, those billionaires worth billions or tens of billions will definitely spend half or even most of their worth without hesitation to give themselves 10 or 20 years of life. This is exactly how difficult it is for someone to buy an inch of time. Tianqi was in tears of excitement at this moment. Even crying? He immediately took out his cell phone and sent a WeChat message to Charlie, saying, "Mr. Wade, your immortal medicine, she has already taken. Thank you very much for your reward. She is willing to treat you with all his heart and mind, and will not give up." Charlie replied lightly, "It will be effective, but you must remember not to tell anyone other than Jovia. Refining such a rejuvenating pill requires 300 years of premium purple ginseng, which is really precious." He called for his granddaughter Jovia, who was grinding medicine next door. When Jovia saw Tianqi, she was shocked and said, "Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Do you feel that you are suddenly younger? With me 10 when I was a few years old, I had exactly the same impression of you." Tianqi sighed with excitement. "It's all thanks to the elixir given by Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade said that I could be 10 years younger and live 10 years longer. I didn't expect it to have such a magical effect." Jovia was also stunned, and blurted out, "Grandpa, how can this fairy medicine have such a magical effect?" "This is incredible." Tianqi tremblingly said, "I said earlier that Mr. Wade is a real dragon on Earth, which is beyond our comprehension. I have lived such an old age. I never expected that the greatest opportunity in life was to meet Mr. Wade." With that said, Tianqi hurriedly took out the small wooden box containing the pill from his close-fitting pocket. In the wooden box, there is also a half pill. This is the last time Charlie refined the pill that can treat body and nerve damage and strengthen the body. Half of it was used when he helped Charlie save Jacob, his old master. The whole one was specially rewarded by Charlie after knowing that he refused to treat Fredman. Tianqi kept thinking that when he was old, he would take this 1.5 pill with him at all times for emergencies. However, today suddenly had such an opportunity. He prepared to give one of these pills to his granddaughter Jovia. So, Tianqi took out the pill and said, "Jovia, this is the medicine that Mr. Wade previously rewarded at that moment. I originally wanted to keep it for myself." Speaking of this, Tianqi looked at Jovia and said sincerely, "Jovia, don't blame Grandpa for being selfish. After all, Grandpa is getting old, and the older people are afraid of death and don't want to leave you too early." Jovia hurriedly said, "Grandpa, don't say such things. I never think you are selfish." Tianqi smiled slightly and said, "Actually, I understand in his heart that I am selfish." With that said, Tianqi handed the pill to Jovia, and said seriously, "Jovia, Grandpa has received too much favor from Mr. Wade. I have a handful of old bones. It is a blessing that I have been able to have such an opportunity for several lifetimes. Therefore, Grandpa can't enjoy these blessings of Mr. Wade alone. Grandpa will give you this medicine. You can keep it next to your body in case you need it." Jovia hurriedly waved her hand and said, "Grandpa, you should keep this medicine." Jovia don't. Tianqi said seriously, "Jovia, listen to Grandpa's words and accept this medicine. Grandpa alone will not be blessed to endure such a great destiny. You should be helping Grandpa share the destiny." After speaking, he sighed again. "Jovia, from today, you must serve Mr. Wade well. Even if your grandpa dies in the future, you must continue to serve. This is not only to repay Mr. Wade's kindness, but also for yourself. Seek a greater good fortune." Seeing that Grandpa said sincerely, Jovia hesitated and finally took the medicine. Once upon a time, she had dreamed in her heart whether she could have such a miraculous medicine, but when she thought that her grandfather was older and needed more than herself, she didn't think about it anymore. However, she never expected that Grandpa would actually give the medicine that Mr. Wade gave him to her. Therefore, she was extremely excited after receiving this pill, and at the same time, the words her grandfather had ordered continued to echo in her mind. Serve Mr. Wade for a lifetime? She really want to, but she doesn't know, Mr. Wade will dislike her? Tianqi saw her careful thoughts, smiled slightly, and said, Jovia, Mr. Wade is a person who values love and justice. As long as you treat him wholeheartedly and sincerely, he will treat you sincerely. Grandpa will never live forever. It's nothing more than 100 years old. You are still young. If you can always stand by Mr. Wade and serve him, Mr. Wade will definitely not treat you badly in the future. Jovia nodded repeatedly and said, Don't worry, Grandpa, Jovia knows. Tianqi sighed sincerely. At the time Honor invited me to treat Mr. Song, my old wounds were not healed. I wanted you to there alone, but because I had friendship with Mr. Song back then, in case you treat him. It's not good for him, he may not be able to live for long, so he came here. I didn't expect that in this trip to Orus Hill would meet the biggest noble person,